Hey, Boo Cakes, it's your favorite girl, April Watts, coming at you live from Safari Nightclub. Yes, this is the camera I'm supposed to be looking at. This is the show. It's called EGO. The acronym stands for Everybody's Got One. It's a show about opinions. I've got mine, you've got yours, and they have got theirs. Let's get into it, man. We are going to introduce the guests today. We're going to start with the in-studio guest. To the left of me, we have Omar Kashif, a.k.a. Omar the Creator. How you doing, O?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. You want to tell the people about yourself and what you do?
All right. So I am a serial entrepreneur. My background has been in artist management and
Black Alley, hello.
Yes. And I birthed this group called Black Alley. That is a DC-based band that is freaking awesome. And I am opening an event space pretty soon, something to keep the black culture moving forward.
I love it. I call him a Renaissance man and a businessman because he does everything and he definitely handles that business.
I try.
Also, we have my girl Brittany, a.k.a. Queen B. She is the queen, honey. And she is in here, radio personality. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'll say radiopreneur has been definitely the starting platform, but it's branched into so many other things. Plus size modeling, brand ambassadorships.
All up in California. I stalk you on Instagram.
Just a little bit. Body positivity is like a big thing that I'm on right now because I feel like with where I am, you know, it's time to inspire. It's time to kind of like take it off of me and put the light back on other people. So a lot of great things coming up. I mean, just follow my page. I have so many things out there right now that's already out. No one to talk about me. We're here to talk about us.
What's the Instagram, though?
At Queen Bee DMV. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything. You can find me there.
All right, and joining us via satellite, we have my girl, comedian Ty Davis. How are you, Ty?
I am groovy like a drive-in movie. How are you guys?
Fantastic. Okay, Miss Drive-In Movie. She gonna be a rapper one way or another, okay? You are a comedian extraordinaire, just busting down stages all over the country. Can you tell people about yourself and what you do besides that?
Yeah, so I'm a stand-up comedian, although all of my shows in the last 6 months have been done online because I'm not fooling with outside at all.
Not at all, because I tried to get her for the show. She was like, April, I love you, but I'm not messing with COVID.
I was like, nah, fam, I'm not coming outside. But I'm also a writer. I have my own podcast, the Lost and Found podcast, which you can see on the virtual background.
Ooh.
And former radio personality for DTLR Radio. And just trying to make it in these streets the best way I can.
I know, that's right. And last but certainly not least is my radio bro. We go way back. We have my man Stretch Garrett. What up, Stretch?
What up, April? How you feel, baby?
I'm fantastic. So good to see your face.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you again for the invite on this joint. Can I plug something?
Come on now. You already plugging it. It's in the background. You want to ask now? You got a whole, what do you call it? Expanded banner, retractable banner, all of that stuff. Now you going to ask?
Yes, indeed. So, I just want to let everybody know that my first novel, Last Request, dropped. So please pick it up. It is a very, very great tale about a radio personality and his trials and tribulations amongst this thing called love. April, you already know, because I was talking about writing this book when we was working together.
Yes, it's a long time coming. I'm excited for you, and I have to buy my copy. I said it in front of everybody, so you know I have to do it now. I'm so looking forward to reading it, and I appreciate you so much. I appreciate everybody. So look, we're going to get into today's topic. Today, we are going to be talking about women and sexual freedom because there's been a lot going on in pop culture recently, some heated debates on social media. And so I want to start not talking about what sparked that debate, but getting to the foundation of it, because at the very basis of it, it's about women and sexual liberation, women and sexual empowerment. So I want to know, what does a sexually empowered woman look like to you? What is that? She said,
It's weird. So you want to ask a man, what does a sexually empowered woman looks like?
Yes. I want to ask everybody here.
I feel like they know the woman's one in their mind. So let's hear the man first.
Oh, well, see, it's weird because I feel like this is the time where I should be quiet and let women speak about what they feel like sexually empowered women really look like. However, if I had to offer anything, I think that it's just being free to be yourself without thinking about the judgment of others. And that's pretty much it.
I like that definition. Anybody else want to chime in?
I do.
Come on, Ty. Come on. Give it to us.
He gave the safest answer.
It was very safe. It was very safe.
I was like, oh, all right.
But
come on, baby.
I just feel like sexually empowered women are women that are confident and they are unapologetic about how they express themselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And, you know, they're organically, unauthentically, 100% true to themselves.
I like it. So with these working definitions that we have, why do sexually liberated and sexually empowered women seem to make so many people, men, but also women, so uncomfortable?
Oh, let me take that one.
Come on, Queen.
So the reality is it's not a real, it's a facade. The uncomfortability is a facade. The uncomfortability is really based on conversation and not within the personal self. Because let's be real, we talk to our closest friends, family members sometimes about our deepest and darkest, sexual fantasies and, sexual, I'll say like, curiosities. And we really, really go on the deep end. I mean, that's why you got this whole OnlyFans account and foot fetishes and all that stuff. So it's like, my issue is there's this whole facade as to what is to be portrayed based on what the woman should look like and based on what the woman should be, and the man too, and his responses. So it's a little catch-22ish for me. I'm not really a big fan of the separation between a woman not being able to express herself or even relay a message of sexuality or intimacy or romance, because let's just be real, those words are real too. But, we'll talk about those later. But I don't think that people understand that there's a real thing about women actually taking full control over their physical appearance, over their mental appearance, and over their spiritual appearance. And we can interject that in so many different ways and in different times to where it doesn't have to be so specific. But you have men that are like, oh, I'm in my suit and I don't talk like that during business hours. But then after business hours, while you at the happy hour, you kicking it with your homeboy and you talking about how you got, the best, outfit, say.
It's called code switching.
Listen,
that's what we call that, code switching.
That
Everybody
like,
does that.
That sounds like social awareness to me.
Social what?
Social awareness.
That is social awareness to a certain degree. To a certain degree. I want to talk about the facade you were talking about, because I definitely feel that people play certain roles and certain roles aren't real because we have to present certain images and certain things to the public, or we want to be perceived a certain way. So we withhold certain aspects of who we are because frankly, everybody doesn't deserve to know the full you. And sometimes we just faking it to make it. But the social perceptions and the social implications of a sexually liberated woman are very real. The pushback is very real. The stigmatism is very real. And so I want to know, why does that sexually liberated woman get the social implications that she gets? Because even though to a certain degree it is a facade, or to a certain degree it's not real, when the social implications are real, then it's very real.
Because the lack of control is there.
Okay. Queen says because of lack of control. What do you think, Ty?
I think that the uncomfortability comes from people projecting their own insecurities and morals and values onto the images and the things that they're seeing. So there may be some things that I see and I'm like, okay, come through, sis, I'm here for that. And then there may be some things that I see that I'm clutching my pearls like she's gonna have her nipples out. But that's just based on, that's just based on what I'm comfortable with. And then also, the basic structure of how human interaction was even created in the first place. So you're thinking back to past times. Women weren't allowed to vote. Women weren't working. Women were, you're barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen and
Power.
This is your role. And when we started to step outside of that, it was met with resistance because that's not the way that things always were. So I think that a lot of those old things kind of mix in with the new, but ultimately it's just us projecting, our own personal experiences and feelings about it. And then, the history of how women were viewed in the first place.
What do you think, Stretch?
No, I agree with that because you got to think about it. Like, it's unfortunate that a lot of the stigmas that were created back in the early days, 30s, 20s, 40s, still kind of exist to today, but in like undertones. You know what I mean? And so it's like it's not for some people they don't find it acceptable for a woman to be out here, just patting on a thing and popping that ass and doing all these wild, all these things, like just letting herself be who
I can't pop it. That's my question. I want to ask you. So because I have ass, I can't pop it. So because I'm confident with my body, I can't do what I want with it. And you're saying
I didn't say.
No. He didn't say that.
Come on, I'm on your side.
You're not saying that, but the perception of what the world thinks.
Queen is on it. She ready. She like, who wants some?
We're not gonna let that ride. No, we can't let that slide.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The perception continues to try to hold women back from being who they want to be. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not. If it's acceptable for quote unquote, it's like if a guy wants to be out here just hey man, I'm slinging this thing to Trina, Katrina, Belinda, all that, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's cool. But if a woman does it, it's like, oh well, hey man, I don't think that's really acceptable in the senses of because you are a lady and that's not ladylike.
Okay. You come with that because it come with the smoke,
So we have it very clear that there is a disparity. Everybody can agree with that.
Sure.
Okay, so the question is that disparity based on power or is it based on morality? Because what I'm seeing recently around the song WAP, and we're definitely going to get into that and how that's causing such this commotion, what I'm seeing is people are taking this moral high road and people are saying, oh, this is terrible, women should not present themselves this way. Women should be a better example for little girls. And many men are seeming to come from a moral perspective saying that it's just not right. But deep down, I believe that there is an underlying power dynamic. So is it power? Is it morals? Is it morals kind of like masking or is it power masking as morals? Or is it a little bit of both?
I think it's more about time and place. That's just really all it is. Because I think at any given time, in terms of black community, there are things that I'm conservative about, and there are things that I am not. And those
break it down. What are those things, though?
And those
I need to know.
He's a safe man.
And those things can change based on, where I am at that time. So, like this, right? So, I think WAP is a dope song.
I do too.
And I also appreciate wet ass pussy because who doesn't as
who
a man?
Who doesn't like wet ass pussy?
Exactly. And I also come up in a time of Lil' Kim, Foxy Brown, so many dope.
Take it back to Millie Jackson, my girl Grace Jones.
So for me, I'm like, man, listen, this is just along the line of that, right? But at the same time, when I think about personally, in my personal relationships, I have been with, some women who are sexually expressive that I have appreciated, and I've also been with a virgin. I was like, I'm never fucking with a virgin again. Cause I'm like, this is whack as shit. I'm like, I've never. So then, like, when that happened, I was like, yo, if you haven't had sex with like at least 10 dudes, I ain't even fucking with you.
Because you have a preference, and you know what you want. It's a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
So let me say this. I think that, and Ty, especially because she's a powerful woman too, I think that when you have a woman that you can't silence, it's a problem.
It's the power dynamic. I really believe it is.
When you have a woman that you can't say, don't talk about your wet-ass pussy, talk about your, the pussy you only give it to your husband because it's supposed to be for him pussy.
It's yours, daddy.
So then that's where the morality link comes into play. But my issue with it all is, as black women, as minority women, as women in general, like cover all the topics, as women, period, we're supposed to accept the men can be ain't shit, the men can go out there and have the whole polygamy mindset, the men can go out there and do all those things.
I want a harem.
All those things. And we are simply talking about how we like what the fuck we got with our WAPs, with our mentalities. So it's an issue. I'm confused by that. And then let's go into deeper too, because you have the portrayal, and as a plus size woman, I'm gonna pull it out there. I've always had ass and titties since I was 12. Mm-hmm. So You got skinny women like Janae Aiko, slim women. I'll say skinny is not the right word. You have slim women who actually feel like, you know what, I can talk about how good I am in bed, and they don't get no diss. They don't get no, you know what I mean? Like no radio controversy, none of that.
Voluptuous women
Yes,
always have a hard
When the
time.
curvy woman comes on, when the like the full figured woman comes on, then you have the difference between, oh, I like that. I believe that she is actually fully confident with herself. And then it gets switched into this hoe. Now, I will say with WAP, the one thing that I did not like, kind of like conflictually didn't like, because it was a shout out to Baltimore with the remix, but the it's some hoes in this house and then WAP. Just because I got a WAP don't mean I'm a hoe.
Okay.
And that's where I'm at.
I want to talk about that. I didn't have a problem with it. And the reason that I didn't have a problem with it is because I feel like they were playing a psychological game.
Yes.
You placed that label onto me. You call me a hoe.
Right.
Okay? So now, guess what? I'm going to take it from you. It's mine now. I'm going to use it. Now what? That's the same way that I feel about the N-word. And so that's why I don't want anybody black, I don't want anybody white, I don't want anybody telling me not to use that word, because that word was forced upon me. And guess what? I took what you gave me, I flipped it, and now hip hop has everybody paying to hear that word.
Yes.
You can debate about it, but guess what? How many men throughout the course of music history have made music out of calling women hoes, out of treating them like hoes? So you got two women that say, yep, there's some hoes in this house and I'm gonna make money from it. I'm happy for Frank Ski. I'm happy for Cardi B. What up, Frank? I'm glad you got that bag, Frank, okay? I'm happy for Frank. I'm happy for Cardi. I'm happy for Megan. And I'm actually also happy for every woman that has ever been slut-shamed, because people act like hoe is a dirty word or hoe is a dirty thing. I wanna get into the definition of hoe. What is a hoe? Is a hoe simply a sexually empowered woman? Because even though women sometimes call men hoes, it still doesn't have the same connotation. It still doesn't stop us from messing with that hoe. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, right. And honestly, from the time boys are born, they are taught to sow their oats and to go out and to date and to be with as many women, as many or men. It's a whole new world now, you know what I'm saying? But
It is.
boys are taught to sow their oats, and girls are taught to be chaste and pure and to save it for marriage.
Yeah.
Come on,
Safety.
jump in there. Jump in there.
I know, but it's,
He the diplomat. He the diplomat.
Yes, you're the devil's advocate. We love it.
for sure. But I'm probably not going to. So here's the thing, right? And I'm going to say this analogy that I was told.
Okay, break it down.
All right. So I was told
I like secrets.
that a key that can open any lock is considered a master key.
Okay. That's
But a lock that can be opened by any key is considered worthless.
That's bullshit, and it's a
I'm
power
not
dynamic.
saying
I'm
whatever
not.
it is,
I am not.
but
That's some Hotep stuff right there, oh. That's some Hotep stuff right there.
It wasn't even a Hotep that told me that. But either way,
He got it from a Hotep.
maybe. But I guess what I'm saying is that there is a certain virtuousness that we believe exists with women, right? And I think a lot of times, and that could be very, very wrong. Like as a child, we're taught that girls are sugar and spice and everything nice. And I can remember getting my heart broken in the 6th grade.
Aww.
And I cried over this girl. I'll never forget. Tasha Boomer broke my heart.
He called a whole name out. Where you at, Tasha? Are you watching, Tasha?
Tasha, oh Lord.
I'm a Southeast guy, so we are a small community. They know what it is. But I just remember at that time thinking that girls were a certain way, and I did not see them as assertive as I saw guys or any of that. And then when her personality, she was she was strong-willed. Yeah, she was not the kind of woman.
He can relate.
Yeah.
He can relate.
You liked it. Say it.
I
Say you
loved
liked
it.
Yeah,
I loved
there
it.
You go.
But when she left me, I was devastated. I'll never forget. I was crying. My brother came downstairs like, "What's wrong with you?" He started putting his clothes on like, "Man, who we got to fight?" He thought
He was ready.
Yeah. And I was like, "Tasha broke up with me." And he was like, what the hell? I'll never forget that. Anyway, point was that was my first lesson in women being liberated and doing what they wanted to do. And I had to think, damn, but what am I doing that's not keeping her engaged?
I have a qualifying question. So what exactly was the moment of liberation for her? So what did she do? Did she like sign like check no on the yes box? Like what it was?
No,
like,
we was already in a relationship.
Okay, that's I
So
wanna know
she left him for that other dude.
We was in the gym, and she came up to me.
In the gym with you? Oh.
Not really, but she came in the gym where I was at with my men, and she was like, I don't want to be together no more. I'm like, what you talking about? First of all, you can't break up with me because I was ready to break up with you. Now that's what I had to say.
Lying, just lying.
Had to lie, but we're talking about school at this point. I gotta save my face. However, when I got home, now that thing hit me
From lying to crying.
Viciously.
That's how I went.
So, but I've always respected, a woman's choice to do whatever a woman wanted to do because I had a strong mother. And then I also had that experience with a strong young woman too. Mm-hmm. So I just think I don't know. I think you guys do have a little bit more, seemingly more responsibility just because of you guys are purveyors of life. You guys bring life forward. I know that there are like Christians out here who believe that, humanity's made from a man's rib and all this other craziness. But nature in real life teaches us that humanity comes from a woman's rib.
And again, that's why I have to ask that question. Is it truly morality or is it power masking as morality? And I don't want to sound blasphemous. I love God. I believe in God, all of that stuff. But when you look at a lot of religion and a lot of beliefs, I believe...
Patriarchal.
Patriarchal,
yes.
100% patriarchal. And you have to look at the power. I wish Erica Kane was here. She has a podcast called Queendom, and she had me on. Mm-hmm. And the topic was pussy power. Talking about the power, like the true power that women have.
The future is feminine. That is a big trend.
It's not even about the future. The past was feminine.
Life.
You have to look at this. Nations were built and destroyed because of pussy.
Women.
Wars were fought because of pussy. You could call it love, you could call it pussy, you could call it whatever you want. But if women truly understood their power and took ownership of it, and I believe that somewhere in some ancient times, a long time ago, a man realized the power of a woman, and they created all of these theories and all of these beliefs.
They couldn't control
and they enforced it.
Sure.
And I'm using the word enforced for a reason. They enforced it through religion to keep women under control. God forbid I be just like you.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know what to do. God forbid you've had a slew of women before we got married. I had a slew of men. Then if I'm not a virgin, I might not think your penis is the best in the world. If I'm not a virgin, I might not think you the biggest. You have the most prowess. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
I think that it's truly at the root of it all about control. And people on Facebook and Instagram weren't feeling me on that. But I was like yelling that shit from the mountaintops. This is 100% about power.
I've always said that the race wars and all that was because of penis envy. A woman can look at him. Penis
envy. You're right.
Back in our ancestral times, and back in I'm talking about all of our ancestral times, we were naked. Like people don't forget we were naked. Women were actually be like, oh, you got a little dick. I don't want you. I'm going over here. That was a real thing, and so you actually there was way more freedom and control with what you wanted, which is where we're not now. Now, women can cover themselves. Catfish is a thing. So there's this whole switch up, which I agree with, that psychological switch up as far as what we were supposed to accept and what we were supposed to know. And that's where the humility got taken off the table. Mm-hmm. Once we covered ourselves up, and then once we got secretive, and then it was like, oh, you know what I mean? I can hide my curves. I can hide my ass under this dress. I can hide my dick behind this little piece of patch or whatever. And then I can get you to like me. And then so I feel like there's a difference between the sexuality and as far as interest, and then the mental interest or the spiritual interest, or anything beyond physical. Basically, that's what it is. It's either physical or anything beyond physical. Once we reach that point of, okay, I can identify with the fact that she wanted you because your penis is bigger than mine. So now, what am I going to do as Louis the 13th, as John Caesar the Great? What am I going to do now to preserve my name, to preserve my ego, to preserve?
It's all about ego.
To preserve
ego,
everything
like the show.
that I have put to the public for what they know me for. Now, what am I going to do to preserve that? Because let's be honest, before social media ever came about, there was still word of mouth. Word of mouth. Shout out to my guy Ludacris. Word of mouth is still one of the biggest forms of communication because that's going to be forever how we communicate. We are human beings. We talk to people. That's what separates us from any other species. That's what makes us great. We have taken over time and have capitalized on that, but we have lost the art of conversation, which is something that I've always said. So now you add ego, you take humility off the table, you add morality and the lack of, then you add power and the lack of, and then now you have all these, situational issues.
I'm getting the wrap up sign because initially the show was supposed to be a half an hour. I'm going to take this
Half
moment.
hour where?
Hold up. I'm going to take out this moment to shout out my business coach, Kervance Ross, the Kingmaker down in Atlanta. He said, April, no, what you think you're doing? You can't do a half an hour podcast. I was like, I was on the radio. I know how to interview a person in a couple of minutes. We're going to keep going because this is my show and it's live and we just going to keep going because we're not finished talking. And you know what? I do want to incorporate some callers as well. And I want to Zoom people. You don't have to be polite. Just hop in because all of us got mouths. So if you got something you want to say, Ty, if you have something you want to say, Stretch, just jump in. You already know we are black folk and it's conversational overlapping. You don't have to say, excuse me. You don't have to raise your hand. And we do want to take some callers. I have to make sure I have the number correctly. We don't have any teleprompters. We're doing it like real, put together. It's 410-822-FREE. That's 410-822-FREE. We are taking calls right now. What? 3733. 410-822-3733. 410-822-3733. I'm going to say it one more time. 410-822-3733. Okay, so now I want to get into people's personal business, and I don't mind sharing my own as well.
Yeah, me
Sure.
I think you already kind of answered the question. So you are a guy who is about liberation and progressiveness in theory, but in your personal life, when it comes to who you date, would you date a woman that has been around?
I would.
Because you have.
I would. And I have.
I know.
But the perception of this woman.
Yeah, see, perception, I don't really care about that. So for me, I think it's more about the chemistry that we have and the trustworthiness that we have between each other.
Okay.
If I feel like she ain't trustworthy or something like that, then I can't rock. Now, I have an older brother, and he would always say, like, if you met her and she was a certain way, you should decide to wife her. And then you find out that she continues to be a certain way, then that's on you because you knew what you was dealing with. Yeah. And I would generally say, yeah, you're right, because that's what it is. But at the same time, I don't think that we can pigeonhole people to just a certain aspect of their life, right? I am a high-minded individual.
Excuse me.
I have a lower self and I have a higher self.
I think we all do.
Right. So we all have that. Now, in our higher selves, if we cannot be, real, honest with one another, okay, cool. Then that lets me know that person is still vibrating on their lower level, and boom, it ain't gonna work, right? So that's kind of where I am with it. But who you are, because here's the thing. I don't want any woman to be with me from a point of a fiduciary responsibility.
Fiduciary, okay.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So it's like
you're not taking care of anybody, is what you're saying.
I'm not. I don't want you to feel like you got to take care of me out of a response. I want you to want to be.
You want
here.
a partner.
That's it.
Okay.
Right, and I want to be able to give you the things that you need, and you feel fulfilled in that way. And I also want to fulfill, make sure that I'm fulfilled in that way, and we communicate about that. It's just that simple.
What about you, Stretch? And I'm starting with the men for a reason, because we women probably gonna go deep on how we perceive ourselves and how we operate.
Sure.
But Stretch, would you or have you been with a woman that gets around?
First of all, I just want to.
What was that?
Hold on. Oh, grab the glass. Oh,
Why y'all got left? That man got. See what I'm saying? He trying to tell y'all what's going on right now.
First, I just want to give a toast to ass and titties.
First, I just
you know
want to
what I'm
give a
saying?
I got water, so you know.
That's okay.
H2O.
That's fine.
My favorite part of the bird. You feel me?
My favorite part of the bird. You feel me?
You know, I mean, to be honest with you, like younger me,
like,
of course.
younger
You know,
me,
back in the day,
of course.
I was,
back in the day,
it's where that double standard comes in. You
It's
know what I'm saying?
where that
Because
double
when you were young, you
standard
were like,
comes
oh
in.
hell
You know
no,
what
I
I'm
can't be
saying?
messing with no
Because
girl
when
that's
you
been
were young,
around.
hell no, I can't be messing with no girl
But then once you get older, and then you realize like, yo, you can't avoid that situation because everybody had a life prior to you. And just as much as you had a life prior to you meeting that individual, just let it be what it is because that's what it is. It's like you go through your growing pains of learning who you are as an individual, and they had to go through their growing pains to learn who they are. And at the end of the day, I could care less. And yes, have I think I have, and I'm sure some of the individuals that probably mess with me was like, oh man, you a hoe. Yes, I have being a hoe as well. You know what I mean? But it's just like it's no getting around it. It's like those days of like looking for someone who's pure and angelic and all this, that, and another. All that is played out and is not reality. You know, so it's like, come on, man. It's all about, like O said, it's all about you making that connection with the individual.
I want to get to that point about you saying not reality. I want to touch on a couple of things. One, I got to stay off Facebook and I got to stay out of people's comments because sometimes I just get caught up and it drives me crazy and I get emotional. One of the dumbest, and I'm sorry, and maybe it's not nice to say, but one of the dumbest comments I saw in reference to women and sexual freedom was a man that had to be in his 40s talking about he don't want a chick that's been ran through. I'm like, first of all, anybody you're dating has to be probably at least in their 30s or older. They probably have children. If they had children, you want to talk about ran through, she's giving birth, dude. What are you talking about? One. And then two, like, if you've been on this planet 30 years, 35 years, 25 years, 40 years, whatever, ran through, like, are we even still using that terminology at that age and why? To me, it's just a childish mentality, one. You know. Come on, O.
No. Listen, go ahead, because if you say one thing wrong, I swear I'm coming. Go.
I don't have a right or wrong here. That's how I feel.
Go ahead.
Ran through?
Yeah, I know.
What does ran through mean at the age of 45?
Yeah.
What does ran through mean at the age of 30?
You know what it means? It means his penis doesn't fit the woman's vagina that he wants, so then she's automatically considered ran through because his shit don't fit her. It's not about her.
It just means he can't handle it.
I'm not saying
What?
That's what it is, though.
And Ty, you can chime in, baby, because I see your face too. Oh.
Look at Ty's eyes. Ty is like, what in the world?
I mean, I'm just being honest, let's be real. Like, every man's penis is not shaped the same. Every woman's vagina is not shaped the same. Sometimes the woman that you visually see and even maybe ambitiously see that you think is the woman of your dreams, reality, she's not, because by the time you fuck her, your penis is like, yeah, nah, bro, be like that other bitch from 3 days ago. Like, so, and 3 days ago is what I said in accuracy. So let's let's be real. Like, you cannot sit there and, like, men, I just really want y'all to understand. I really want y'all to understand. We as women, we have the power to control our pussy. We can make that bitch big. We can make that bitch small. We can tighten that little motherfucker. We can make that bitch wet. We can make that we can not be stimulated at all and it'll be dry as fuck for you and you can be fine as hell. That's fine. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to is how are you going to tap into here to make this work? And that's the
thing a lot of men don't get. A lot of men don't get it. Like, they're just looking at sex in a vacuum. And I'm like, you have to get me there.
This ain't no 4 for 4.
Conversation is the foreplay. You have to stimulate my mind before we even go there. You know? But second point, you were saying about things not being real. I want to just really get men to understand that everything a woman gives you as far as perception isn't necessarily real. And a lot of men can't handle sexually liberated women because a lot of men can't handle honesty. You want the little J. Crew, Banana Republic, Stepford wife looking chick who looks like she's innocent. The whole time she's the one who's quote unquote ran through.
Yes.
And the woman who is sexually liberated, who is owning her stuff, who is honest, is gonna be loyal as hell. Like you sitting up there thinking you got a prize. You think you have something that is pure. You think you have something that is rare. And everybody done had that, but she knows how to present to you what you want. And my whole thing is, I care too much about myself, and I care too much about you to lie because I want something real. But what I have noticed is that whether it's sexually, whether it's mentally, whether it's spiritually, because I'm a strong woman in every way.
Right.
I don't do nothing soft, okay? I'm just being all the way
You're
honest.
not vulnerable.
I don't do
You're
nothing.
not vulnerable. You are
You can be him
solid.
soft.
I have a soft side too, but generally
Not really.
speaking, did you just say not really?
Oh, my bad.
Did you just say
You
not
heard that?
really? Did you just say
You heard that?
No, but
yes, I
that's
heard
the
that.
perception. Women that are overly sexual, we don't have a soft side. It's either we're very, very fucking sexual, or we're very quiet, or we know how to do our business. There's no, we can't have a balance. And I'm not putting you on spot, but I'm just saying, like, for you to say that, that's like subconsciously what you were like as a man. That's what you tell yourself.
Patriarchy.
I'm being so serious. Because she is a strong black woman, she cannot be sexualized. She has to be either taken seriously or sexually. There's no in between. Either, like, I'm gonna tell you right now, I've had a man from Baltimore I'm gonna be honest. He told me, he said, women from Baltimore that live through Baltimore or whatever are one of two things. They're either a prostitute or they are who they say they are. Well, buddy.
Wait a minute, I don't agree with that.
Listen,
Me either.
that's fine.
Come on, Stretch,
Me
bring
either,
it.
bro.
Bring it, Stretch.
I'm not saying
I
I
don't
agree,
agree.
but I'm
What you
saying
got, Stretch?
That's some herb ass nigga
That's
shit right
some
there. You know what I'm
herb-ass
saying?
nigga shit
For
right
somebody
there.
to say
You know what
that,
I'm
like,
saying?
come on, man.
For somebody
Like,
to say that, like,
you know,
come on, man.
I mean,
Like,
because I'm from Baltimore.
you know,
There's
I'm
plenty
trying
of
to
dope
take a
ass
sip.
women from
There's
Baltimore,
plenty of
and
dope-ass
they
women from
not
Baltimore.
prostitutes
They not
and all that other good stuff. I don't
and
agree with
all
all
that
I
other
didn't
that.
say I agree
I don't
with
agree
you,
with
but
all
that's
that.
what someone told me, so that it shocked me.
All right, I want to get to the ladies' name.
But you know what, April? You know what, April? Kind of going back to what you were just talking about the real thing.
A lot of men can't handle honesty.
And kind of going off.
A lot of them just cannot handle
Men
honesty.
can't. You might be wrong.
I'm a truth teller, right? I'm a straight shooter. You've been knowing me for years. You've been knowing me for years.
Oh, okay.
I'm a straight shooter. So when I'm in a relationship and I see an area where my man can improve, I'm not going to beat around the bush because I love you. We don't have time for hints. We don't have time for you to figure it out on your own and breadcrumbs and me to lead you to the trail. I'm going to be like, babe, look, here's what I'm seeing. And what I'm thinking is, this is an opportunity for growth right here, and you may need to buck up over there. And a lot of the men that I've dealt with see that as an attack on their manhood. And I'm like, no, boo, I'm trying to make you better. Like, and I expect the same from you. I don't want you to lie to me. I don't want you to sugarcoat anything because I want us to be the best we can be. But a lot of men can't take an honest woman sexually either. Like, they need to feel like they're the hunters. I'm a hunter by nature. I can't tell you how many times I've hunted a man by pretending to be the prey. Like, I just sit over there and give a certain energy and look and be calm when I really want to just go over there and be like, so look, what's up? But I can't do that.
Well, that's what a lioness.
Say
That's
that.
what a lioness.
Say
That's what a lioness
that.
does. That's what a lioness does. You know you a lioness. You know, come on now. That's what they do.
You know, come on now. That's what they do.
That was a real.
No, seriously, you know, and I've also noticed, because I do clubs or whatever. Speaking of clubs, I would be remiss if I did not shout out Safari Nightclub. Safari Nightclub in Baltimore. They are sponsoring us. They are allowing us to have this podcast here every single Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. Big shout out to Jimmy T. Shout out to The Game, okay? The Game, Safari has been super, super good to us, so we love and appreciate them. But last Friday, I was working at The Game, okay? Breed Fridays. We're going to be there. This Friday is the last Friday. We need everybody to come out. It's just going to be nuts, all right? Shameless plug, yes, it was.
Right.
So look.
You be plugging.
Right.
I was at Breathe, right? I was at Breathe, and Tons put on WAP. The ladies went off. I'm talking like twerking on steroids, just like feeling it because it felt empowering to them. And I cannot tell you, like, I literally sat there and did a social experiment. Mm-hmm. The men literally clutched their pearls. And I'm talking about...
You made a status about
I'm
that.
talking about street dudes were like stepping back like... oh my God, like what? And so one of these guys who was a regular at another nightclub that I did, he looked back and he turned back and he looked at me and he looked like, come and get them. And I was like, you are so uncomfortable right now. And he felt, because of our rapport, he felt comfortable being honest with me. He was like, yeah, right? So no. So immediately after that song, he played Cash Out, grabbing on my toolie, so the smack on the booty, she's working. Then they loosened up, body language changed, they went into the crowd. And so I was like, oh, you comfortable now? They were like, yes. So sometimes men like a sexualized woman as long as he is in control and as long as he is the one with the power. But when women are honest about their power and about their own sexuality, it becomes uncomfortable for them because society has made men feel like they have to dominate and they have to be in control. So that is a certain honesty, just like a woman with a strong personality. That is a certain honesty that men cannot handle, just like certain, like with white privilege. And with certain, like white people can't handle, not all white people, but certain white people can't handle a certain type of honesty because society has been laid out for you.
Correct.
Society has been built around the perception of you being superior.
It's difficult
and
to
so,
unlearn.
Right. So it is difficult and it is uncomfortable to unlearn. And just like white privilege, there's male privilege. Even though black men have it rough and tough, there is still male privilege. And so when men are faced to confront certain truths and certain realities, they don't know how to handle it, and it becomes uncomfortable, and it becomes, oh, she's a hoe, this isn't right, this is immoral, when really it's about you now don't feel in control, and you can't handle no longer being in control. What do y'all think?
I seen a meme, and I actually posted it myself. Now, and I'm a Ty. I want you because
I need Ty, man. Come on, Ty.
She been real. Girl.
She been too quiet.
I'm proud of you, boo. You working on yourself, ain't you? You working on yourself because there's some things that you would have said, baby. It's some things you would have said. I've been looking for you to say and you ain't say. But I'm gonna say this. I feel like with men, there's a sense of wanting to attach themselves to the former morality. But where we are now in 2020, because we're so far gone, because we're so far embedded into the social media, we're so far embedded into our desires, as opposed to what is actually like yoked and what is actually like meant for us. I feel like we don't even see that as options. But, and I'm saying this like in like a political answer, but I think at the end of the day, that was the political answer. This is the ratchet answer. So I think at the end of the day, men that don't know how to come at you without dick or money, they're very confused when you're a powerful woman because they're used to being able to control women with their dick, size, performance,
and that's just not enough for me. I'm sorry.
Or they're used to controlling you by supplying you with the things that you felt like you financially needed. So outside of them two things, they're like, oh shit, you know, she's a real ass.
We are not in school. You do not have to raise your hand.
Hold on, look.
I'm raising.
Do not raise your hand. Come on.
Nah,
Like, she's
cause
a real ass bitch. She actually whatever. So that's why I was like, I know Ty understands because and you as well, because when you're a powerful woman, when you're sure of yourself, when you can't let nobody control your mind, and it's like a man comes to you and he's like, so I mean, I do have dick and money, and I mean, if I decide to get past that and show you who I really am, it's up to you to show me. That's kind of where I feel like the unpopular.
But the sad part about it is a lot of, and I don't want this to turn into man bashing, and I don't want it to sound like man bashing because I love me some men, okay? But once again, because of how society is structured around patriarchy and structured around men, a lot of men don't know who they are beyond the sexual prowess and beyond the status and the money and material possessions. True. I once dated a guy. I'm not going to do the Omar. I'm not going to call out his name because I don't want to embarrass him like that. But he had all the checks. He was former Marine, former Secret Service. He was a Kappa. He was a Mason. He had this high-powered job. He made a lot of money. Attractive man. He had the house out in Bowie, you know, PG County. He had the cars. He had all of that stuff or whatever. But what I said to him, because like I'm a very perceptive person, and even though he had all those checks, and that's nice, but I want to know what else, because what else matters to me. So what I said to him, what I said to him I was like, you seem like a person who has done everything you're supposed to do. I was like, you got all the jobs you were supposed to have. You got the benefits. You got this. You got that. I said, but when you go home and you strip down naked and you take that expensive suit off and you turn that Benz off, you turn your BMW off.
Then
he
who
had
are
both. You take away the Kappas, you take away
Right.
the Masons, you take away the Secret Service, you take away the Marine Corps. Who are you? And he looked so blank in the face. We got a call.
Look.
We have to go to the phone, so we have a caller right now. Hey, caller.
Hello?
What's your name?
Yeah, this is Romeo from the East. My name is Romeo from the West Side.
What up, Romeo?
What's the deal? Emerson in the building. But I have a question, right?
Okay.
My daughter will be turning 9 tomorrow, and I was hearing about this WAP conversation, and I don't feel comfortable with my daughter in the car, and that comes on the radio, and she sees the video. I just saw the video myself a couple of days ago, and I was horrified. So how was the imagery with the sexuality empowerment? I get all that, but how does the young kids, let's just say from like kids, how do they perceive that? Your sweeties, your cash dolls, all the dolls. It seems like I get the movement, but for my young daughter, I don't feel very comfortable playing that.
I want to let other people chime in, but I do want to say this. I don't have any children, but I was a child, and my mother did not shield me from anything. What she did was watch things with me. She listened to music with me, and we had intellectual conversations about it. She said, April, what do you think that means? How does that make you feel? Do you think that's right? Do you think that's wrong? And she never told me what to think, but she helped me shape my own thinking around certain things. Because here's the reality. Images are out there. We are in the information age. It is going to be nearly impossible to shield anything from your children, even with parental controls on the phone, on the television, on the internet, all of that stuff. They are going to go out into this world. They're going to go to their friends' houses. They are going to see all of that imagery, whether you like it or not. So as a parent, it is your job to help them process it in a healthy manner. But I want to get to what everybody else thinks about that. What do you have to say?
Well, I think the same thing you just said. So I was going to say that, you just can't control it. So when it comes on the radio, you have to find a way to have an open conversation with your young person so that you can figure out where they are. Ain't nothing you can do about some things. It ain't.
And
right?
I have
So
a
unless you're
question
going to
for
take
Romeo.
that out of no more radio, right? So now you're going to put on your CD, your playlist, whatever you want to do, or whatever music they like, and play that only. But if that comes on, if you have not decided, like what you just said, to be able to discuss it, talk about it, then you're just not in the space, right? And it's nobody's fault. Because here's the thing. I don't want us to get on this holier than thou, this can't be, woo, whatever, when we already know what we grew up on. I'm from the era of NWA all the way to...
Can we talk about Nelly Tip Drill real quick? Can we talk about Tip Drill?
Like we've had all of that. So your kid is going to be dope if you're a dope parent.
Yeah.
Boom, that's what I was going to say.
Like that's what it is.
Boom.
And I want to ask Romeo, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking? Is he gone? He's gone. Okay, so Ty, you're a mom. What would be your answer to Romeo's question?
I didn't hear Romeo's question. I think he had a question basically about like how what explains it, or the song. Is that
the
song? Is that? So I'm a mother of two girls. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just put the cat away.
No, but what's Because your daughter is 9. Are they in the same group?
No, so my oldest daughter is 25 and my youngest daughter is 16. So,
but the 16 is a very pivotal age.
That's serious age. Yeah.
It was some stuff going on. But
it's always some stuff going on with a teenager.
You go ahead, girl. You go ahead.
Some stuff. some stuff going on. But with my girls, I understood very early on that whatever is being shown on TV and whatever is being played on radio, it's not the responsibility of the artist to raise my children. So I instilled in them what I wanted them to know, what I wanted them to feel, what I wanted them to believe, but I also made it free for them to be able to express themselves. Would I be riding around the car listening to WAP with my 16-year-old in the car? No. Personally, I think the song it sucks, but not the lyrics. You know what I mean? Because I come from the generation where Trina said, "You don't know that hoe." Them business places I've been. Who can spend the grams I spend? Fuck about 5 or 6 best friends. That was my jam. That was my jam. So I'm not shunning, what they're doing, but Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B are not responsible for raising our children. Now, if you want to turn it off when you're in the car with your baby girl, cool. But if it comes on and your baby girl's in the car and she starts singing it because she clearly knows the words because they got TikTok and all of that, that's when you have the conversation. So don't shy away from the conversations that they're going to be exposed to anyway. It's your responsibility as the parent to control what it is that they're consuming, but also have them armed enough to be able to engage with whatever it is that you don't necessarily want them to subscribe.
That was the perfect.
Amen.
Salud, I'm addressing you on that.
All right, so once again, we are taking calls. We're probably going to take one more call before wrapping it up. The number is 410-822-FREE. What is the digits to that? 410-822, last 4 digits? 3733. 410-822-3733. Now, we had the men talk about whether or not they would date a woman who has been around or whatever. How would you define yourself as a sexual being? Do you think that you're liberated? Do you think you're conservative? Do you think you're somewhere in between? Because this is a patriarchal society. And we have all been raised in it, so it has impacted us in some way, shape, or form.
I'm a highly sexually experienced individual. That does not mean that my list or my numbers are high. Mm-hmm. I was, especially as a curvy woman growing up early, because I naturally had gained attention that I did not seek. So I had to learn to adjust to what was coming at me. So I learned through sexuality, because mind you, my parents, at the age of 12, I wasn't allowed to go to a B2K concert, or immature at the time. Like, I wasn't allowed to go to an immature concert because I was not grown. I was not 13. I was not a teenager yet. So even at 12, I was not able to do so. So my family household and structure, I grew up in a 2-parent household. Will Smith, no cussing, rap type of stuff. So my family was very protected because of the environment that my family has come from. Okay. From the hood, from Section 8, from welfare, from government assistance, from military. So boom, put that out there. Now, sexually in my adulthood, now mind you, I'm skipping from teenage life to going into my 30s. That entire transition has led me to understand the dynamic and the hurt that the man has gone through from having those moments when he was in the 6th grade and he had that girl hurt his feelings and stuff like that. Sure. I understand the socialism of it, but where I am personally in terms of my sexuality and in terms of in a mate that I seek, I mean, and I'm gonna be very informal with this, I'm looking for a freak. And the reason why is because I need you to satisfy me. I need you to be able to be on my level intellectually, because I am a strong woman. I don't need you to stimulate me spiritually. I have God for that. I don't need you to stimulate.
I need spiritual stimulation as well.
Well,
we have to be on one accord.
What I'm saying is you are not the initial. All right. You are the support. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not the initial, you're the support.
Exactly.
I already have my
I agree with that,
laid.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I need you to complement. I need you to accentuate. I need you, I need you to basically bring it together as the man, as you should. Mm-hmm. I am a queen, and a lot of people, especially one thing I want to go into kind of a little deeper, the power and the morality and the sexualism of the woman, and with the queendom, you know what I mean? Like, even you mentioned, Erica, and it's like,
shout out to Erica Kane, that's my girl.
EK. But as women, there's this big sense of queendom now, and that's the reason why I brought on that title before I really knew what I was doing, to be honest with you. And it's because I am now allowing myself to be receptive to how men have been hurt. I am allowing myself to be receptive to how I have hurt men, because those are two different situations. I'm not responsible for how somebody before me came and did what they did to you. So I'm now, and that's just on the heartbreak side, but I'm also on the physical side. I want you to tell me your desires. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. If you like your booty played with, I'm not the girl for you. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm saying that in a way where it's like, whatever your sexual preference is, I'm not downplaying that. But it's like there's certain things that just fit certain people, and I feel like men and women, we date outside of what is really meant for us because we like what feels good or what looks good. So where I'm at in this now is I'm not looking for anybody that's overly sexualized. I'm not judging anybody that's overly sexualized, but if that does come to my table, if that comes to my plate, I'm not here to judge you for it. I'm here to listen to you to see how you got that way because our stories might align, our stories might match up. We might become yoked in that to where that past of what you have is just really built for fortitude for the future. It's not for you to rest.
I hate to cut you off. We're going to go to a caller because we have somebody on the line. Hey, caller, what's up?
Hello.
What's your name?
Would like to say, despite what me and my husband may go through, I still love my husband with all my heart. Mr. Jason Rodriguez, your producer.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, so this is okay.
Black love is beautiful.
We gotta give it up for Black love. All right, Jay, she loves you, man. I want to take it over to Ty really quick. All right, Ty, how do you perceive yourself sexually? Are you conservative? Are you sexually liberated? Or are you somewhere in between?
I mean, I'm a little bit country and I'm a little bit rock and roll. I'm a little bit country and I'm a little bit rock and roll. I mean, at this space that I'm in, it's funny that Queen, you mentioned it. Like, I can tell you work on yourself. Like, I have been, doing a lot of extensive critical analysis of me. Before you can engage into any type of experience, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional or mental, you have to know who you are. And I was out here being reckless, not knowing who I was and what I wanted, and just, compromising and making myself small and just going with the flow. And now I'm in the space where I'm like, okay, I know exactly what I like. I know exactly how I want you to do it. And, what are some things that you like? Let's have a conversation about, some things that you like. I mean, I do stuff, and I understand that some men might not be into what I'm into, but I want that man that I'm with to feel free to be able to have the conversation. Like the last relationship that I was in, my partner was sexually advanced to a level that I didn't know that was. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know we were doing it. Let's give it a try. I've always wanted to try it. And I love it. And now I'm sitting here like, now we broken up because we're single. I don't know who's watching.
I'm not going to apologize.
I don't know who's watching. Okay, so like for example, I have always had the idea of what BDSM would be like. So after like watching 50 Shades of Grey and reading the books, I was like, I think I might want to do that. But I never, I wasn't comfortable enough to say that to my partner, like, hey, how do you feel about this?
Boy, will you show me?
So my last relationship, we were so honest and brutally honest with each other that I was like, I need a little something extra. And he's like, what? And I was like, well, I would like to try this, but I don't know how to do that. And he was like, oh, well, I know how. I can teach you how. And I was like, oh, okay, well, teach me. And so it got to the point where, from the BDSM lifestyle, I'm a switch. So I dominate and I sub. So I'm a submissive and a dominant because that's
what? Okay. She's a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll.
Hold up.
That's time. Fuck that shit.
Oh, now Stretch want to talk. Now you want to talk.
I just want to know, what was your code word? Now. What was the code word?
So the safe word is actually something that's very sacred and it's like a sign of vulnerability between the two partners. Even though he and I aren't together, I cannot share his safe word. Nor can he share, but we both had what we had different safe words for each other. What I will say is that I've never had to use mine, and I've made him have to use his.
Never had
He was out there, pancakes.
And with that, Ego's first episode is a wrap. Thank you so much to Queen. Thank you to Omar. Thank you so much to Ty Davis. Thank you so much to Stretch. I am definitely going to have each and every one of you back at some point. Maybe not back all at the same time, but definitely back. This has been a complete and total success. We thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, each and every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, live from Safari, coming at you from YouTube, from Facebook, from Instagram, Periscope. We just going to be everywhere, okay? And you're going to be able to watch the replays. You're also going to be able to listen to the replays everywhere that podcasts are available. My name is April Watts. Ego is my show, and this is officially a wrap.
Hey.
I love you guys. Thank you so much.
You're good, son.